Hi everyone, this is Carlo and welcome back to my channel. I was working on the pages of my travel journal of Copenhagen, and while I was painting some delicious Danish pastries, I thought this deserves a spin-off from the main video. Food is an element that features very often on illustrated travel journals. So I want to show you how I gradually build up the color profile of my food illustrations in 3 easy steps. And you can apply this method to your journals, or also if you want to illustrate a recipe book. So make sure you stay until the end, take notes, and let's get started. As usual, I traced the main lines of my illustration with tracing paper, and I sketched in detail using a reference photo on my tablet. In this project dedicated to the Nordic countries, my illustrations are created using pencil, watercolor, and water-soluble coloring pencils. Now, let's look at the reference photo. Every illustration has 3 sets of tones: the highlights, which are the lightest colors of the picture, the mid-tones, and the dark tones. Using watercolor, we usually work light to dark, because we can always add color, but we cannot remove color once it's on the paper. So I started with the highlights, mixing a super light yellow with a hint of sienna. That is the base color for our pastries, and the cups of tea that surround them. For the tablecloth, I slowly built a blue tone, darkening some areas layer after layer. I've applied it very diluted and sparingly, leaving on purpose some small areas white, to suggest the lightest portions of the highlights. I've added a bit of orange to differentiate a bit the tone of each element of the composition. While I wait for this layer to dry, I start coloring other elements. Let's talk about whites. When we have white plates, bowls, crockery in general, it's advisable not to leave them unpainted. I know that it's white, but instead we can create an off-white using water and a hint of sienna if we want a warm white, or blue if we want a cool shade. This will look less artificial and will blend better with the rest of the illustration. It's time for the mid-tones now. I mix the various shades of orange steering towards brown, and these will be used to start giving volume to our pastries. These are the portions where our pastries are baked to perfection. Not too burnt, not too soft, just right. This will not become a baking channel, I promise. For the darkest tones, I chose a darker brown and some burgundy shades. I'm painting now not only the crispy burnt tops of my pastries, but also I'm defining the shadows in between them. You see how little by little they start to acquire body and the illustration looks more complete. I love to finish the image with water-soluble pencils, normally applying 2 layers. The first one, in this case a light shade of blue on the burnt part of the pastries to make it less dull. The first one will be blended with a wet brush and will merge with the tones I painted earlier. The second layer instead will be left unblended, and I tend to do this to suggest textures. Like for instance the streaks of this wooden board and the lines of the linen fabric of the tablecloth. Feel free to also add details that are meant to stand out or look sharper, like I did with this spoon. For one last touch, I've used a white UniBall Signo gel pen to add some sugar details and also a few highlight points here and there. I like it because it's very subtle, but if you want a stronger effect, you can use white acrylic paint applied with a very fine brush. So the Danish pastries are now ready. They'll make a lovely first page to illustrate my days in Copenhagen. And I hope you will find this method useful to paint your food illustrations. As always, let me know in the comments below. The video of my Copenhagen travel journal is coming soon. In the meantime, feel free to like, share, subscribe if you wanna help my little channel grow. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, take care and see you soon.